The Debt Management Office has said that Nigeria's total public debt has surged to 121.67 trillion naira, marking an increase of 24.33 trillion naira over a span of 3 months. Now, this is a sharp contrast of Nigerian public debt of 97.34 trillion naira, which was recorded as of December 2023. The comparative figure for December 31st, 2023 was 97.34 trillion naira, that is $108.23 billion. The total domestic debt amounted to 65.65 trillion naira, that is $46.29 billion. The total external debt stood at 56.02 trillion naira, which is $42.12 billion. It's been reported that the government of Tinubu had secured loans totaling $4.95 billion from the World Bank over the past 12 months amid concerns about rising costs associated with servicing external debt. Despite the $4.95 billion that President Tinubu has borrowed, his government is anticipating the approval of fresh loans amounting to $4.4 billion from both the World Bank and the African Development Bank within the coming year. If the anticipated loans are approved by these banks, it means that President Bola Tinubu, within the span of few years, 2 or 3 years, has borrowed $9.35 billion, which is 7.29 trillion naira. I don't know if you understand the implication of the figures I'm reeling out, the implication of these debts that these leaders of this country have plunged us into. Before we go into the discussion proper, let's look at the rundown of Nigerian debt profile since inception of democracy in 1999 under President Olusegun Obasanjo till date under Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Let's start with President Olusegun Obasanjo. During President Olusegun Obasanjo's tenure, there was a reduction in the debt level of the federal government to 2.42 trillion naira in 2007 from the 3.55 trillion naira in 1999 he met on ground. Obasanjo served for 8 years with a dip in the federal government local and foreign debt level, representing a 31.8% decrease. Obasanjo handed over power to Umaru Yar'Adua and Jonathan. Let us look at their debt profile. The Umaru Musa Yar'Adua was president between 2007 and 2011, with a domestic debt of federal government increasing from 2.17 trillion to 5.62 trillion. The foreign component of debt increased from 2.11 billion to 3.5 billion dollars within the same period. The combined debt profile rose from 2.42 trillion to 6.17 trillion in 4 years, representing a 155% increase. Jonathan completed a tenure from May 2010 to May 2011 after the death of Yar'Adua. The period saw a 2.9% surge in the federal government debt from 4.94 trillion to 6.7 trillion in 1 year. At the beginning of Goodluck Jonathan's tenure in 2011, the federal government had accumulated debt of 6.17 trillion naira. An analysis of the debt profile showed that local debt stood at 5.62 trillion naira, while the foreign debt stood at $3.5 billion. That the federal government component of the total public debt increased to 9.8 trillion naira in 2015 from 6.17 trillion in 2011, showing a 58% increase of 3.63 trillion naira. This means that the 8 years of President Goodluck Jonathan and President Yar'Adua's administration saw Nigerian debt profile increasing to almost 7 trillion naira from what they met on ground after they took over power from President Olusegun Obasanjo. Now let's move over to President Muhammadu Buhari. The Goodluck Jonathan handed over a debt profile of 8.3 trillion naira to President Muhammadu Buhari in 2015 when he was ousted out of office by gangs of power grabbers. President Buhari, who oversaw the most clueless, directionless government in the history of this country, increased the debt profile from 9.8 trillion naira to 16.02 trillion naira in December 2020. That is a whopping 7 trillion naira in the space of 5 years. In 2021, the debt profile increased by over 3 trillion naira, bringing it to the total of 19.24 trillion naira. Now, look at the magic. at the end of Buhari administration in May 29, 2023, Nigeria's debt profile has risen from 7.8 trillion naira when he took over from Goodluck Jonathan to 78.379 trillion naira. This means that in the 8 years of President Muhammadu Buhari in the helm of affairs, he accumulated over 68 to 69 trillion naira. 68 to 69 trillion naira for someone who destroyed the economy of this country. When President Muhammadu Buhari took over from Goodluck Jonathan, Nigeria's economy was rated the 3rd fastest growing economy in the world. Before we move over to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I want to ask this very vital question. Let us have a moment of retrospect. Those of you that went to protest against Goodluck Jonathan in 2012, when the fuel subsidy was removed, what was your plan? Why were you protesting? Were you protesting because you love this country? Were you protesting because you wanted a better Nigeria? Were you protesting because you wanted to leave a good legacy for your children? Or you were protesting because you were deceived? You were protesting because you were naive? You were protesting because you did not know what you were doing? You were protesting because you hated Goodluck Jonathan because he is from the south? Were you protesting from the lens of tribalism or religious sentiment? Was your rage against the government of Goodluck Jonathan born out of bigotry or patriotism? Whatever is the case, congratulations to you. You have succeeded in bringing in power grabbers that have destroyed your economy, that have destroyed your country, that have left debt profile that they will not pay, but you and your unborn children will pay. Now let me ask you a question. How do you go to bed at night? Do you go to bed feeling satisfied? Do you go to bed feeling happy that you were part and parcel of those that enthroned this wicked government of President Muhammadu Buhari upon innocent Nigerians that were enjoying the 3rd fastest growing economy in the world? Come on, I'm not saying that Nigeria was perfect under President Goodluck Jonathan, but at least we were managing our problem. At least we were better. At least we were living a comfortable life. At least then, Nigerians could afford 3 square meals a day. Nigerians could afford to buy fuel. Nigerians could afford a stable lifestyle. But then you went and protested against a sensible government and brought in a senseless and clueless government. You tag Goodluck Jonathan a weak man, you tag him a clueless man, but voila! What you have today is worse than what you experienced under Goodluck Jonathan. Should we forgive you for bringing in President Muhammadu Buhari? Alright, to err is human, to forgive is divine. We forgive you for bringing in President Muhammadu Buhari that totally destroyed this country. Now ask yourself a question. Are you among those that brought in President Bola Ahmed Tinubu? Were you among those that campaigned and voted for him? Now let us see what he has done so far since he became the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He came under the heels of a Miloko. It is my turn. He did not even campaign. He didn't tell the people what he was going to do. All he said is that I'm going to continue from when President Muhammadu Buhari stopped. Let us see how he continued from where President Muhammadu Buhari stopped. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the Miloko, the astute accountant that worked for Deloitte, the man who turned the wave in Lagos, the man that built Lagos, the man that wrote the blueprint for the development of Lagos. Since he took over office, he has borrowed over 24.33 trillion naira, bringing the total debt that this country is owing to 121.67 trillion naira. What an outstanding accountant. He has done excellently well. He has proven to be a man of his words. He said, I am going to continue from where President Muhammadu Buhari stopped, and he has done it without mixing words, without even hiding it. He has continued from the borrowing spree that President Muhammadu Buhari left behind. Congratulations to you, Nigeria. Before I move forward, I want to play this video. Listen to this video carefully. This is a video of a Ghanaian pastor and what he's saying about Nigerians.
I tell you, the worst in African continent is West Africa. But Ghana is trying gradually. That is why every Ghanaian must hold on to the peace that God has given you in this nation. Nigeria is a worst nation. I am saying it because I know what I'm saying. When you appoint a leader that is dull, everybody in that nation will look as if they are dull. But Nigerians are brilliant people. In all the universities in America, Nigeria, they are top notch. But their leader, they are dull. No brain of businesses, no brain of future, no brain of infrastructure, no brain of raising people. But they have only brain to steal money. And that's why you see Nigerians everywhere and nobody wants to see green passport again. I pray one day that the whole nation will say they don't want Nigeria again. You know why? That prayer God will answer it so that Nigerians will go back home. Necessity is the mother of invention. So that they will think.
Once again, congratulations to you all Nigerians. You keep voting in people who taking turn in borrowing away your future. These people that are borrowing this money, they will not be there to pay this debt. You and your unborn kids will pay this debt. Look at the legacy you are leaving behind for your kids. Look at when President Muhammadu Buhari took over from Jonathan. The debt profile was 9.8 trillion naira. In 16 years of PDP, the debt profile was 9.8 trillion naira. But you, because of your anger over someone that did you nothing, because of your tribalism, because of your bigotry, because of your religious sentiment, you voted out Jonathan and voted in President Muhammadu Buhari. Between the space of 9 years, President Muhammadu Buhari and Bola Ahmed Tinubu, they've borrowed over 100 trillion naira. 100 trillion naira. I want you to go and write it somewhere. They borrowed over 100 trillion naira. Who is going to pay all this money? Are you thinking about your life at all? Are you thinking about your future at all? You made a mistake with President Muhammadu Buhari and you continue the same mistake with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The people that don't even have future. Ask yourself a very important question. What have they done with all this money they've borrowed? What real investment have they done with all this money they've borrowed? And as we are talking to you, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is thinking of borrowing more money, over $4.4 billion. This is going to be added to the already 121 trillion naira that is still pending. Who will pay all this money? Are you not tired of this kind of lifestyle, Nigerians? Look at the legacy you are leaving for your children. Is it the kind of legacy your forefathers, your fathers left for you? With all your enlightenment, with all your steez, your composure, look at what you're leaving for your children. Your forefathers fought the colonial masters and they gained independence for you. Your fathers fought the military and they gave you democracy. What are you going to leave for your children? Rather than planning and discussing on how you are going to come out of this quagmire, most of you on social media are talking about steez, composure. What will steez and composure add to you? Will it reduce the price of garri or the price of rice or the price of tomatoes? Will it do anything to you? You are busy discussing irrelevant things while the government is busy borrowing away your future. Burna Boy was right. Nigerian youth are the most unprogressive backward youth you've ever seen. They are so docile. They fold their hands and allow the government to ruin your future. Are you not ashamed of yourself? What has befallen you, Nigerians? Look at what is happening in Kenya. The government increased taxes and Kenyans of all walks of life, tribe, tongues, religions, is turned into the street and protested against the government. They demanded an immediate reversal of that policy. The government has no choice but to rescind its decision to increase the taxes. Similar things has happened in this country since Bola Ahmed Tinubu came into power. Tinubu removed fuel subsidy, increased electricity tariff, custom duties, the interest rate, yet Nigerians were silent. Rather than raising their voices against the government, they are busy discussing steez, composure, tribalism on social media. What a generation of docile youth. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.